everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're doing a video that I'm just like way too excited about because we're trying an eyeshadow palette that I have been wanting for the longest time, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that. I have been wanting to buy this palette since August of 2021. So that has been almost 7 months, you guys. That is so crazy. I've wanted this palette for so long. You're probably wondering, why haven't you just bought it? Well, I didn't buy it because it was not available here. I live in Europe and Cult Beauty is like the main retailer, and it was sold out for the longest time. It's still sold out there, but I actually bought it somewhere else. So I will tell you that in a bit, and we're going to be trying out the palette on camera today to see if it is worth the money. But before we start, if you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you found it. I upload beauty videos about 4 times a week, so if that sounds nice to you, then I would love it if you subscribed. But for now, let's get started with the review and the first impression of the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. Like I said in the intro, this palette was unavailable for the longest time to me. I kept like checking Cult Beauty. I signed up for their like priority notification. I chatted with their customer service, and there still has not been a restock date on Cult Beauty. But I found another European retailer that stocks Patrick Ta, and I don't think many people know about this because on my Instagram I posted about this today and everyone went like crazy in my DMs asking me like where I got this from. Well, you guys, I actually bought it from Flannels, and Flannels is a UK luxury warehouse. This is not sponsored, I just legit found out they stock Patrick Ta there. And they had this palette in stock alongside a lot of other popular items that are always out of stock on Cult Beauty. So I just feel like not many people know that they stock Patrick Ta at Flannels. And the Flannels actually ships internationally. It was about like €6 I think to ship it to here. It arrived super fast and I didn't have to pay any custom or taxes fee. So it's kind of like the same process as Cult Beauty. So I will have this palette linked down below if it is still available. I think it's going to be sold out soon when more people start noticing that it is in stock there, because I know so many of you guys have been wanting this palette as well. But now we all know where to buy it. Let's see if this palette is actually worth the money. So this is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. Like I said, this is the box that the palette comes in. I just really like this sleek Patrick Ta packaging. It's kind of like the same as like his other products. It just has a picture of the powders on the back. Here we also see the ingredient list. And then of course what matters the most is the actual eyeshadow palette. Now this is what it looks like. It's a really like reflective packaging, just like his blushes, which for a beauty YouTuber this is like the most annoying thing ever, because you see my studio light, you see all the reflection, you see like the dirty fingerprints. But yeah, the packaging is just basically the same as the outer packaging, but then more reflective. Now this palette is actually made in the USA and it has a 12-month shelf life. So the back of the palette is basically the same, but it has this like matte sticker on there with like all the shade names. And I think most of you guys have seen the inside of the palette, but let's show you what it looks like. So this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. As you can see, we have a variety of gorgeous warm tone shadows in here. Some lean a bit more neutral like these ones, but then we have some like really warm ones in here like this. And we have a mix of shimmers and mattes in here. So when you look at this, isn't this just like the perfect neutral everyday palette? And as you can actually see here, we have a little lid, and that is because we actually have 2 cream shades in here. They look super pretty. I haven't tried them in today's video because I said it in my tutorial, but I wanted to get a little familiar with the shadows at first before I would show it on camera. But yeah, I really like that we have such a nice mix of matte, shimmers and creams in here, and I'm so excited to give this palette a try on camera with you guys. So I think we should just get started with the tutorial, see how I created this look and see how the shadows worked and everything, to then decide if this Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette is actually worth the price. So I think without further ado, let's get started with the eyeshadow tutorial and see how I created this look. So here I am ready for the first impression little tutorial with the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. My hair is looking a little funny. I just put it up with like a clip to have it out of my face because sometimes I'm like struggling when I'm doing my makeup and I have my hair in my face. So I decided to zoom in. So we're nice and close, and I'm so excited to be trying the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, you guys. So I think we should start picking out a look, and like I said, here we have the palette. It's a really reflective palette, so I hope this isn't going to be like too distracting, but here we have the shadows. And as you can see, the two deepest shades in the palettes are actually creams. Now, I actually don't think I'm going to be using these today because I'm not like scared of cream eyeshadows, but I don't really use them at all, so I'm scared that if I'm going to use them today, I'm going to mess up the look because I still have to like figure out a bit how to work with like cream eyeshadows like this. So I'm just going to be using the powder shadows today, but let me guys know if you want to see a 3 looks 1 palette with the Pen Top Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. I could totally do that, and we can create like 3 different looks and include the creams in there when I've had a little bit more time to play with it. But I think what we're going to do today is just like a nice little blend of these mattes, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one because it's really quite warm toned. I think I'm going to be using like this one, and this one, and then maybe like incorporate a bit of this and then add a nice shimmer, maybe do like a halo eye type thing, and then I'll come up with 3 new looks for the 3 looks 1 palette video. So the first thing I'm doing is taking this nice little fluffy blending brush. This is the PC10 by Peaches and Cream. I will have all of my brushes that are still available individually linked down below, as well as where you can get this palette in the UK, Europe, and the US. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is taking this light shade right here, and I'm just going to press this all over the lid as a nice base shade. Usually I use a shade that's like really similar to my skin tone, or use like a white or cream colored shade, but we don't have that in this palette, only the one that has a shimmer in there. So I'm just going to be using this one right now. So I just zoomed you guys in a bit more so it's easier to see what I'm doing. But again, I'm just like pressing this shade basically all over the lid, and I'm applying a nice bit of pressure to really get this on my oily lids because I do have quite oily eyelids. And then what I'm going to do is take my brush at the end of the brush and with really like light pressure blend these edges out. And normally I always do my brows after doing my eye look because I tend to like blend into my brows quite a bit, but I've already added like brow gel and everything, so we're just going to be a bit careful with doing that. So I'm going to be using this shade right here, and what I'm going to do with this is just put it on the same brush and very lightly add it into my crease. Then I'm taking a bit more of that previous shade, so the first one that we used, and I'm just going to go over that blend with this. So what I'm doing now is taking this small little tiny flat brush from Peaches and Cream as well. This is the PC20, and since I have pretty small eyes, I really like using this for like preciser application. I'm going to be using this brown shade right here, taking this on a small brush, just slightly tapping that in here, and look how pigmented that is. And then what I'm going to be doing is sort of like pressing this into an angled line on the lid. This is super pigmented. And then taking a bit of the second shade that we used, I'm going to be adding that to the edges of this shade. And that's looking a little crazy right now, so using that first blending brush that we used, I'm going to blend this inwards. So very, very light pressure, go over this part. Then taking a clean, big, fluffy blending brush, I'm just going to go over everything that we just blended with very light pressure and just blend everything together. So what I'm going to do now is apply this shade on my lower lash line and maybe smoke it out a bit with this one, just so that we get a nice cohesive look. So now it's time to apply a shimmer. I think I'm going to be doing this one all over the lid to try sort of like the smooth shimmer, and then apply this one also on the lid because this one is a bit more like chunky and I feel like it might be a nice combination. So I'm going to apply both with my finger. This one doesn't really look like a shimmer, but it's also like not a matte. But yeah, let's do the same thing on the other eye. Then taking the other shimmer, this one is definitely a bit more chunky. I'm going to apply a little bit of the dark shimmer right here on the outer corners, but I'm also going to do that with my finger. So now this is what the eye look is looking like. So off camera I'm going to apply some mascara and lashes, and then I'll be back for my final thoughts on the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. So my final thoughts on the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palettes are very positive. I really like how the look turned out. I thought the shadows were easy to work with. The deepest shade was a little bit harder to blend, but that's like pretty much always the case with deeper shades like this. I feel like the shimmers are really visible as well. I like that some of them are a bit more smooth and some of them are a bit more chunky. I haven't used all of the shades in this palette, of course, so I can't say like my full thoughts on this yet. So I will definitely keep you guys updated over the upcoming weeks and months how I'm enjoying this palette. And let me know if you guys want to see the 3 looks 1 palette with this Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, because then I can totally do that and we can try out the creams on camera as well to see if it's really worth the money in the end, because it is of course quite pricey. It's always like hard to say when an eyeshadow palette is this pricey that it is worth your money, but I've wanted this for the longest time. I saved up for it and for me it did not disappoint, so that's the most important thing for me. So yeah, I'm really happy with this purchase and I think most of you guys will love this one as well. Okay everyone, then this was it for my review and a first impression of the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching, and if you did then I would absolutely love it if you gave the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, and to thank you guys all so much for watching, I really hope you have an amazing day and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!